What my son's fiancé stole wasn't just my work, it was my life's dream. I was humiliated for my age, mocked in front of a crowd at a prestigious design competition. They laughed, whispered, and dismissed me like I didn't belong. But less than 24 hours later, that same woman who belittled me walked into my home, smiling in the arm of my son. As his fiancé, she stole my work, my story, my dream, but she underestimated one thing. I don't go down quietly. Subscribe now, because this isn't just a story, it's a reckoning. Woman mocked me for my age only to share dinner as my son's fiancé. The very next day at a design competition, I was mocked for my age and humiliated in front of everyone. Less than 24 hours later, the same woman who belittled me walked into my home as my son's fiancé. For a long time, I believed my time had passed. Design had always been my dream, but life had other plans. First, there was my husband, then our child, the house, and all the responsibilities that came with them. Everything else seemed to take priority, and my dream faded into the background. But then at 60, something unexpected happened. I felt a spark inside me, a renewed sense of possibility. I realized that I could still create. One day, I received an email that changed everything. It was from a prestigious design competition, and my project had made it to the finals. I couldn't believe it. I cried, overwhelmed by joy, fear, and everything that this moment meant to me. It wasn't just any project. It was a piece of my history and my family's history. I had started this project years ago when my son Daniel was just a little boy. He loved to draw flowers, and he would proudly give me his drawings. I kept every single one thinking that someday I would use them in my work. Now, all these years later, those childhood drawings had become the foundation of my first major design project. I had transformed them into sophisticated patterns, blending them with modern design trends. I was excited to share this news with Daniel. I wanted to surprise him with how far my project had come. Over dinner, I told him about the competition and how my design had reached the finals. He stopped eating, looked at me with a serious expression, and said, "Mom, this is incredible, but are you sure?" I was a little taken aback, but I replied confidently, "Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?" He looked at me more closely and said, "Because you've always been afraid of change." He was right. I had always been afraid of change, afraid that it might be too late for me to chase my dream. But in that moment, I knew that if I didn't try now, I might never get another chance. I had to go for it. "I have to do this, Daniel," I said firmly. He smiled a little mischievously and said, "Then you need the perfect outfit." I sighed, feeling a bit overwhelmed. "Daniel, I'm a designer, not a model." But he wasn't having it. "This is a design competition. You're not just presenting your project. You're presenting yourself. Let's go shopping." Before I could protest, he had already started searching for stores on his phone. Then he paused and added, "By the way, I need to buy something too." I raised an eyebrow. "What is it?" He hesitated for a moment before replying. "A ring?" I almost dropped my tea. "You're going to?" He nodded, smiling. "Yes." I felt my heart swell with joy. My little boy was taking the most important step of his life. "Oh, Daniel," I whispered, overwhelmed by emotion. "Will you help me pick one?" I asked. He grinned. "Of course I will." We made plans to go shopping together. It was one of those rare moments when the future felt bright, full of excitement and possibility. We both had big events ahead, his proposal and my competition. But little did I know that this bright day full of dreams and hopes would soon be overshadowed by disappointment. A few days later, I found myself entering the spacious modern office where the final stage of the competition was being held. The moment I stepped inside, a wave of nervousness washed over me. I could feel my heart racing, but I stood tall, reminding myself that I had a great project, and I truly believed in it. I had worked hard, and I knew my design had something special. As I looked around, I noticed the other contestants. They were young, stylish, and confident, each one seeming so sure of themselves. Some of them didn't even try to hide their surprise at seeing me there. One girl with short pink hair gave me a quick glance, looking me up and down before smirking. I tried to ignore it. Soon the presentations began. One by one, the contestants stepped onto the stage to showcase their work. Some projects were impressive, while others felt a bit predictable.